Raelyn Stiller. I suppose it is tempting, if the only tool that you have is a hammer, to treat everything as if it were a nail. This quote is from Abraham Maslow. Everyone in this room is subject to police supervision, and we want these interactions to be safe. Cities need to do a better job policing the police. First, I will talk about some problems with policing in America, and then I will introduce some possible solutions. First, let's start with the issues. Police in America have too much power and are hard to hold accountable. The 1033 program helps police get too much power. This program authorizes the transfer of excess military equipment to local law enforcement. These transfers can include firearms, grenades, grenade launchers, and armored vehicles. This introduces a militaristic style into policing and increases violence. According to Casey Delahanty, an assistant professor of political science with a PhD from Florida State University, states in Sage Journals published in 2017 that the average 1033 transfer increases civilian deaths by 129%. Civil asset forfeiture laws also give police too much power. These laws allow police to seize property that they believe was used to commit a crime. This law is unconstitutional because it removes the protection from unnecessary searches and seizures and due process. In addition to constitutional violations, police are incentivized to abuse this law. 95% of the funds they collect goes straight back into their police budgets. This statistic is from Emma Anderson, an attorney with a law degree from Yale University, found in an American Civil Liberties Union journal, published in 2019. In addition to too much power, police are hard to hold accountable. Police unions contribute to this lack of accountability. These unions use their bargaining power to create collective bargaining agreements, and in these agreements, they often include a law enforcement officer's Bill of Rights. This Bill of Rights gives police officers double due process, as civilians and as police officers, making them very hard to hold accountable. Nick Place, a graduate of George Washington University Law School, observed in the University of San Francisco Law Review, published in 2018, that of 28,567 misconduct claims filed against the Chicago PD, only 33 resulted in terminating an officer's employment, and less than 2% resulted in any discipline whatsoever. This was largely due to Chicago's collective bargaining agreements. Qualified immunity acts in the same way to limit police accountability. If an officer gets in trouble for misconduct claims, they can say that they did not violate a clearly established law and get away with it. This is a highly disputed topic in the court systems because the Supreme Court has argued it is necessary for financial protection for police, but lawyers argue that state and local laws protect police enough. In fact, out of 9,225 cases studied, police only paid into settlements in 0.41% of these cases. This statistic is from Joanna Schwartz, a professor of law at UCLA for 15 years, stated in the Notre Dame Law Review published in 2017. They did not pay into these settlements because of state and local laws. Therefore, qualified immunity is not necessary for financial protections, but only serves to limit accountability. Now that you know some of the problems with policing and why cities need to do a better job policing the police, I will introduce some possible solutions. First, there needs to be more federal oversight into civil asset forfeiture. We need to know where these funds are coming from and where they are going. There also needs to be a pathway for citizens to get their property back that is cheap and accessible. And finally, if the funds were seized justly, they should be returned to the local economy instead of police budgets, which will de-incentivize abusing the program. We also need to reduce power in the 1033 program. A bill recently passed in the House of Representatives aims to do this. Karen Bass, a United States representative for California's 37th District since 2011, proposes in the report titled The George Floyd Justice in Policing Act, published in 2020, that 1033 transfers should not include firearms, grenades, grenade launchers, or explosives. It also has clauses that would make police departments state why they want the transfer, return excess equipment, and notify the local community of the transfer. This is all in hopes to reduce violence in the program. This bill also has protections that will hold police accountable. First, it will limit collective bargaining ability by withholding federal funds from police unions who enter into a collective bargaining agreement that hinders the Attorney General's ability to investigate misconduct claims. This is in hopes to increase accountability. And the final thing that the bill has to hold police accountable is to reduce qualified immunity. If the bill passes, police will no longer be able to use the argument in court that they were acting in good faith or that they didn't know the law when they were on duty. Even if the George Floyd Justice in Policing Act is not passed, these reforms must be made, whether it's on a local level, through executive order, or through different legislation. The important thing is that cities start to police the police, so citizens can feel safer and police can do their jobs that they were hired to do. First, I talked about some problems with policing in America, and then I introduced some possible solutions. Cities need to do a better job policing the police. With police reform, we can change policing in America and end the dangerous and divisive hammer-nail attitudes.
5